why don't we use this philosophy of corporate social value, where you bring social impact into the strategy of the company? So when you are thinking, what is the business that I am in? What is the value that I give to the society, and why the society, the communities will need your service or your product? You develop this strategy in harmony. So I think right now, after COVID, it would be a very beautiful moment for everybody to rethink, and business leader to think, okay, from my business, how I was doing, how can I adjust my strategy so I will make profit, but at the same time, while making profit, how can I build into my strategy social impact? How can I make the community around even better? So if they develop, they will consume more, and I will be able to have more prosperity. I think that is these both end and these connections. No, Dana?
Absolutely. And yet to do what you have just envisaged has to start with that business leader concept of his own self and what he is and what makes him or her thrive. The new book I'm writing now as my kind of Bible of quantum leadership, if you like, begins with the self. Because if I don't realize right here up close and personal with my own self that I am my relationship to you, I am my relationship to my extended family and my community, I am my relationship to my culture and my nation and my planet and its nature, etc. If you don't begin there, then everything again becomes a supreme act of saintly self-sacrifice and service, which may be asking too much of many business leaders. They don't all have to become saints. They only have to realize that the way they run their companies and structure those companies, I think it's important to keep stressing that quantum management isn't asking business leaders to completely change why they're in business or to become selfless servant saints, but simply to realize that in serving the others, their employees, their communities, their shareholders, etc., they are serving themselves. They are going to be happier. The air they breathe is going to be cleaner. Their children and grandchildren are going to have a future. And it will automatically come. So it's a question of a total reframing. Not just peddling nice truisms about being a good person and thinking of everybody else, but rather a total reframing of everything I think about who I am, why I am here, what system am I a part of, and what in the end is good for me.
And by the end, Dana, what is interesting is that there is no need for everybody, like you said, to become a saint or to be doing always good or whatever. Is like people are kind of decreasing the importance of being striving for results and being there to be successful. The question is, what exactly is that I think is the result that I will have? What is success? And I love when you talk about reframing, because by the end, if I am able to do exactly what you told, to do something that is impacting positively the society, and it's not having profit and harming your business. No, it's the contrary. How can I even enhance my business? But in doing this, I am having a holistic view. which will make me happier, which will make me more successful also. And I think that this reframing and thinking in ourselves, but from a different lenses, right?
Yes,
Very
and
important.
also part of this reframing about the bottom line and your fixation on it, and thinking perhaps your success should be measured just a bit more broadly, is that these business leaders must appreciate that it is that very concentration on the quarterly return at all cost that makes them underpay their employees, that makes them have their employees work in a way that will produce immediate, measurable, quantifiable results, and that all too often causes them to put more poor quality products onto the market at not always fair prices. And thus, those companies they run and seem so successful by following this kind of thing very seldom last for very long.
Mhm.
It is not a sustainable way to do business. So, again, I come back to let the business leader's interest be not how can I save the world,
Yes.
but how can I save my company? And if he has this broader quantum worldview to give him the overall context, he or she will naturally understand this means paying the employees more, letting them work in a way that develops their potential and motivates them more highly, giving your customers better quality goods and service, and doing all of this in a way that means the air around my company that I'm going to breathe as well as everyone else is cleaner, and there may be fewer viruses coming to shut me down in the next crisis.
Yeah, it is true. And Dana, then comes also somebody asked, I think it was, let's see, yes, Cavinder was telling why it's not right now a common practice to have quantum management, servant leadership in most of the organization in first place. So is it a lack of will at the leadership level or the culture of the organization that is primarily responsible for not sustaining purpose-driven models? So I think that what you told answers a lot what he's telling, because it's not necessarily that the organizations don't want a purpose-driven or something that is taken in consideration social impact, or it's not. I think that is much more in the direction of what was the main measure and what did we forget in the way of doing the business, from oneself as an individual, as the business leaders, as the people around who are asking the results of the business leaders, and then the employees and how they see success. Somehow we enter in a vicious circle that it was a cycle, that it was kind of everybody looking for the numbers and the profitability and sales and cost savings just to accumulate wealth. But somehow, I don't know if you agree with me, but I see lots of organizations and lots of businesses the last decade that have been changing the focus. And even all of the discussions in Davos this year, so many business leaders signing a different way to see business. They were talking about not a shareholder capitalism, but a stakeholder capitalism. So somehow what I see, the beauty is that might be that this didn't exist so much in the past, and people see like they feel that they need something different. But this movement kind of was coming, and we saw in Davos, and then suddenly came the COVID, kind of reiterating these threats for the global economy, the risk assessment that EEF has this report every year. Is the first time in 50 years that the 5 biggest threats are environmental. And COVID is the biggest opportunity that we have to face it, because this doesn't matter which country, which sector you are, if there is a COVID or there is an environmental threat, we will have to unite as one, and we will have to switch the way of thinking. So most probably, Dana, and I wanted to hear your thought also, because they tell why this model was not used. Do you see also this hope and COVID as a kind of test and good experience for us?